Alright, hello guys, Charles Matlack here, and today we are going to do a brief lesson on Spanish adjective rules. So that is the grammar rules that apply to Spanish adjectives. Okay, so to begin, what is an adjective? Now, most of us should know what an adjective is based on our English classes or our ILA classes, Integrated Language Arts, because as we know, adjectives are a vital and essential part of any language. So, to start off, the simplest definition of an adjective is a word that describes or clarifies a noun. Now, adjectives typically tell us an important detail about a noun. These details could be size, shape, color, temperature, age, other things like nationality or profession, alright, as well, are also adjectives. Now, so a few examples of these in English real quick are the old clock, the red ball, and the ripe apple. So let's see, here's the first one that we're going to touch on today, guys, is gender agreement with Spanish adjectives. Now, in English, there is no such thing as gender. Okay, it's a concept that is lost to us, that is unknown to us as native English speakers, okay? We don't have to worry about matching gender with our nouns or with our adjectives, but obviously in Spanish you do. Now, you have to change an adjective in Spanish to match the noun, alright? Or as it says here, at least where you can, but normally the general rule is that you must match the adjective's gender based on the noun to which it is linked or related to, or depending on. So, Spanish adjectives can be split into two groups. Adjectives ending in O, such as corto, rico, bajo, lógico, and distinto. And then adjectives ending in any letter other than O, such as triste, popular, difícil, común. Okay, guys, so the main rule is for adjectives that end in an O, you have to change the ending of that adjective to an A for feminine nouns, or keep the O for male nouns. Okay, now guys, just a note on this is that, excuse me, is that you obviously need to have some general knowledge of Spanish nouns and the gender associated with certain Spanish nouns, okay? That's a different lesson for a different time, but in general, feminine nouns, okay, end in an A, they end in a D, or they end in a prefix that ends in I-O-N. Okay, guys, so on the regular, that's the general rule governing feminine Spanish nouns. And basically, any other noun with any other ending is a masculine noun. There are a few irregular nouns, okay, that, for example, end in an O or end in a masculine ending, but are actually feminine, but again, that's a different lesson. So here, a few examples are, in English, a short story. In Espanol, una historia corta. So there we have historia is a feminine noun, so corta has an A ending to match with the gender of the noun. Now, next one, un postre rico. So again, postre, because it ends in an E, that's a masculine noun, so we must match rico with an O to match that masculine noun. Now finally, la voz baja. Okay, oh, also guys, I forgot about that one, but Z as well. So when our noun ends in a Z, okay, that as well is a feminine noun. So we have la voz baja, okay, again, ends in an A because it is feminine. Now, moving on to the Spanish adjectives that end in any letter other than O. Okay, so you don't have to do anything with these adjectives, okay? So for example, un perro triste, una idea popular, un problema difícil. Okay, guys, as you can see, those adjectives, they remain the same. They do not change. Okay, so another major rule governing Spanish adjectives is our singular or plural agreement. Okay, much like as in English, okay, when the noun is plural, okay, we add an S to it, but now in English, our adjectives don't change depending on whether it is singular or masculine. They stay, or excuse me, depending on whether it is singular or plural. Okay, they stay the same. But in Spanish, you need to alter the adjective to match if it is plural or not. So, for example, on the general, masculine and feminine adjectives that end in vowels A, O, and E, okay, follow your general rule where we just add the letter S. Okay, so for example, in English, these long days, we have estos días largos or unos chicos pasotas. Okay, let's go back, guys. So again, días largos, so largo is the original adjective, and we add in an S because it is plural and it needs to match with the noun. So días largos and chicos pasotas. Okay, now for adjectives that end in a consonant, you have to add ES. Okay, so for example, in English, the young minds. In Español, we have las mentes jóvenes. Okay, now the original adjective is joven, but we have to add an ES because that is a consonant to match the plurality. Mentes jóvenes. Now here's a little irregular adjective. For adjectives that end in Z, you have to replace the Z with a C and add ES. So for example, the happy memories, los recuerdos felices. Now remember, feliz would normally have a Z, F-E-L-I-Z, but in this case we must change that Z to an S or a C and add ES, felices. Alright, moving on, guys. So to wrap it up, we have adjective placement. Now, Spanish adjectives come after the noun they agree with. Again, very different from English, where we always have the adjective coming before the noun it agrees with. So, for example, we have la casa ancha, the wide house. Now, again, guys, notice ancha comes after the noun, comes after casa. So, there are a few exceptions to this. For example, for words such as bueno, malo, and grande, where the adjective comes before the noun and is shortened. So a quick example is el buen libro, the good book. Now, guys, you could also say el libro bueno, but this isn't very commonly used. So it's the general rule of thumb is for bueno, malo, grande, and a few others, we shorten the adjective and place it in front of the noun. All right, guys, so that's it. That's the lesson. So I hope that was very quick. The other resources in the lesson should be able to supplement this and build on your learning. But again, guys, that is just a quick wrap up of the grammar rules governing Spanish adjectives. All right, guys. Ciao.